Hi, Mason Marsh here. I just received a package at my door from Really Right Stuff. Very exciting. I just purchased a while back, I pre-ordered actually, the new L bracket for the Sony A7R2, and it just arrived and I had a chance to install it on the camera. I just wanted to give you my initial impressions of the L bracket and some notes on installing it. So here it is. There's the A7R2 with the L bracket installed, and you can also see that I've got my Peak Design anchors here for the slide camera strap. And I have to say, right from the get-go, I was really impressed by the Really Right Stuff quality on this L bracket. And I have used Really Right Stuff L brackets for years on my Canon cameras. And I have a Really Right Stuff tripod and a couple of their ball heads, and they're all just impeccable. The quality of the fit and the finish of these products is unrivaled. They are the best of the best of the best, with honors, sir. So I was really excited to get this L bracket, and I've been using an off-brand L bracket for the last couple weeks on this camera, and it has felt a little weird. It's a little shaky. It doesn't seat properly up against the bottom of the camera. It was close. I could still use the battery door and the hatches on the side of the camera for accessing the cords and things like that, but it wasn't a real precise fit on that L bracket. The other problem I had with it was rubbing against the bottom of the camera, and I don't want my L bracket to damage my camera, and it actually did wear off some of the paint on the back side of the bottom of the camera. So the chance to get the Really Right Stuff bracket, which I knew would be tailor fit to fit this particular body perfectly, was something I jumped at. Now, L brackets, why do we get them? Well, the main reason is if you ever shoot from a tripod, a lot of times you want to shoot vertically as well as horizontally, and an L bracket allows you to mount your camera vertically using this Arca Swiss plate on the side of the camera, and then of course you have one along the bottom. And that's a great reason to get an L bracket, just to give you the ability to shoot vertically. Now you say, well, can't you just clamp it to the bottom and tilt the head over? You can, but a lot of times what that means is your camera's going to come down and your lens is going to come down and interact with the legs of the tripod. It gets to be kind of troublesome. And so a lot of us have learned over the years that mounting it with an L bracket saves a lot of headaches and makes it a lot easier to use in the field, which of course means you're going to have more time and energy for making beautiful photographs and less time fighting your gear. The other reason I like L brackets is it provides armor for half of the sides of your camera. So got the top, the right-hand side typically has our hand on it for hand holding it, and then the bottom and the left-hand side are the sides that tend to take the beating. And by putting an L bracket on there, you're essentially putting a big chunk of metal that protects that side of your camera. And I know for a fact that with my Canon cameras, it saved me probably paid for themselves in repairs after some drops and some trips and falls where my camera hit pretty hard on things. So it's nice to have an L bracket. The other reason I like L brackets is I like to attach my straps to them instead of to the little eyelets on the camera. The reason for that is I don't typically use the eyelet on the right-hand side because that's where my hand goes, and having that strap there when I'm shooting is oftentimes troublesome, and especially when you go vertical and you have the strap comes down against your face, and it's a real problem. So I mount my strap down here, and the other side mounts over here, and that clears up the very important interface part of the camera on the upper right-hand side. The other thing I like about attaching to the L bracket is it is much more secure. I mean, it is bolted onto the camera, and with this Really Right Stuff bracket, it's actually bolted on in two places, which I'll get to in just a second. So let's talk specifically about the Really Right Stuff plate. Let's go to their website here first. Here's the page for the plate on the website, and you'll see that it costs $175. And you go, oh my God, why would I spend $175 when I can go buy a plate for 30 bucks on Amazon? Well, it really comes down to function. And for me, there's a couple things about the Really Right Stuff bracket that are completely superior to any other bracket that's out there. Yes, it's a lot of money. $175 is a lot of money, but this is a $3,200 camera, and you know, if you wanted to get into something that didn't cost you a lot of money, I would suggest maybe golf or poker or something like that. But photography is expensive, and when you want to use really good gear, it costs you money. So anyway, enough on that. One of the things about this L bracket that makes it special is the vertical component, this part right here that comes up the side of the camera, actually extends. So you unhook the, there's a little screw on the bottom. Actually, it's a big screw on the bottom. And here's a cool thing about the Really Right Stuff. They give you the hex key you need right inside the grip, and there's a little slot for it and a magnet. Did you see that? How cool is that? You just drop that in there and it locks right into place, so it's not going to shake out of there. You take that hex key out and you undo this big pan head hex screw in the bottom, and you can extend this plate. Now, the reason it won't extend on mine is I've actually fastened it through the little eyelet for the strap on the side of the camera, because I don't plan on actually using the extension of this. But if you were somebody who was doing a lot of video and wanted to have access to the HDMI port on the side of the camera, or you were using a corded remote control, you would want to extend this plate out so that you can use these cords when the camera's mounted in the vertical position. Now, clearly, if you're using the HDMI port, you should not be shooting vertical movies, right? So it would be mostly for people doing corded remote control. Now, with the Sony, I found I actually don't use a corded remote at all. It's got a touchless shutter trip where I can just wave my hand behind the camera and it triggers the shutter. I can also use my phone to remotely control the camera. So I haven't actually had the need to buy a corded remote, which is really nice because that's one less thing to carry, it's one less thing dangling around, and it's one less point of failure in that system. So I'm really happy to not have to access these ports at all, but if I were to need to do that, I can extend this out from the side. The other thing I like about the Really Right Stuff grip that's different from other grips out there is it fits absolutely perfectly against the bottom of this camera. Really Right Stuff, they won't release an L bracket until they actually get the camera in their hands, and so they have to buy them just like us. And so the reason that the L bracket is just now hitting the streets is they had to wait until they got the A7R2 in their hands, and then their engineers sat down and created this L bracket specifically for this model. And I can access all the doors, the card doors right there. Like I said, the hatches on this side, there's an opening so I can access those. And again, I can extend that if I want to use those in the vertical orientation. But here's where it gets really cool. And this is where it really kind of caught me off guard. When I opened the package, there was an instruction sheet for installing the L bracket. And I'm like, well, it's an L bracket. You just screw it on there, right? And it's, no, you actually have to take the battery door off. And I'm like, okay, that's interesting. So I took the battery door off and I put the bracket on the camera, and then you install the battery door from the camera into the bracket. And Really Right Stuff has made a neoprene gasket that fits up against the bottom of the camera. And then there's also gasket material in the opening here. So we have a weather sealed, in fact, I would say it's better than the weather sealing on the camera itself, a weather sealed battery compartment extension with this grip. So now I can easily access the battery. It's right in there. And this battery door now is attached to the bracket and not to the camera. Isn't that cool? Never seen that before. That is a new thing. And it's Really Right Stuff's way of just saying, you know what, instead of making you fight to get to that battery, let's just make it easy and mount that thing right on there, which I think is pretty damn cool. So anyway, there's the big new one for this L bracket. I've never seen this before. You mount the battery door on the bracket itself. Very cool. Now, a couple other things. Obviously, the fit and finish are perfect on this. It's Really Right Stuff quality that you would come to expect from that company. And innovations like having an onboard hex key right there are very much appreciated. And then, of course, you've got all the Arca Swiss dovetailing you could need on both sides. And then one last thing, and I'll be done. The grip does extend off the bottom of the camera. It looks like about 3/8 of an inch. So you've got room for that pinky finger to ride. And so now the camera actually fits my hand perfectly. So even when I'm not using it on a tripod, the L bracket comes in very, very handy. And I'm really impressed by the fit, the finish, and the function of this amazing new L bracket. So if you have a Sony A7R II and you're interested in the Really Right Stuff L bracket, take it from me. I don't think you can find a better product out there that serves this purpose. So again, it's in stock now at Really Right Stuff. No longer have to wait. So jump on there and order it. I am not endorsed by Really Right Stuff. I don't get any deals from them. I've just been a happy customer of theirs for years. So there you have it. Hope you enjoy my videos. I do have a couple other videos out there on the A7R II. I'll be posting more videos on the camera as I get them finished, so stay tuned for that. And please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. Thank you so much. Have a great day.